Today we're going to discuss the real reason as to why Trevor hated Michael in GTA 5, because it's not as obvious as you may think it is upon playing the game for the first time. But first, to come to the conclusion that we're going to talk about, let's discuss what was Michael's plan back in Prologue, which we discussed in a previous video, but let's do a real quick recap. So originally Michael put together this plan which was meant to happen in a way where Trevor was the one to get shot and killed and Brad was meant to be the one going to prison. So the original plan never involved Trevor making it out of there alive. With that established, you can probably see where I'm going with this. I will say that yes, part of the reason as to why Trevor hated Michael was the one mainly presented in the game, the more obvious one if you want to call it that way. That of course being that he was lied to about Brad and that Michael never bothered to tell Trevor about Brad's death. Later on in Bury the Hatchet, Trevor digs up the grave in North Yankton and he's sitting there losing his mind, and Michael says, "Oh, this thing didn't work out the way it was supposed to," and Trevor just fires back, "Oh, how is that, with Brad in the can and me in the ground?" And this is it. This is not only exactly the original plan that Michael had for this whole thing, but it's also my point in this video. It's mentioned several times, especially in post-game hangouts, which a lot of people miss, that no one in the original crew from back in the day liked Brad. Not even Trevor, not Lester, not Michael. Trevor himself admits to both Michael and Franklin that Brad was a dick. Also, during the conversation with Lester during surveying the score, Lester said Brad was a mean, lazy, stupid idiot, and notice one thing here, when Trevor responds to what Lester's saying about Brad, he just says he's changed, he's educated himself, he can write now. He says this, but notice one thing, and that's how at no point does he deny the problems that Lester had with Brad back in the day. He doesn't say, "Oh, it wasn't like that." No, he doesn't deny it at any point. All this to say is that Trevor kinda never really liked Brad. He did for some reason keep him around. He did seem to at least somewhat respect him and want to almost honor him in a way, or kinda just keep him involved back when he was alive. During his and Michael's conversation after the game, Michael says Brad was a dick, wasn't he? And Trevor simply just responds that he was. Bless him. Showing that at least in some capacity, maybe he respected Brad, but he didn't utterly despise the guy, even though no one liked him. He didn't outright hate the dude. With the Brad thing out of the way, you may be asking yourself, okay, well, what's your point here? Well, my point is that while yes, Trevor partially was upset because Michael lied to him about Brad, he more so lost it because he figured out that the original plan was to have Michael just stab him in the back and have him killed. And this is what set Trevor off back there in North Yankton, not so much the whole Brad thing. You have to understand one thing, and that's how much Trevor cared about Michael. He viewed Michael as his brother, his best friend, who he'd do anything for, and after he thought he lost him, he was completely directionless, genuinely sad, despite what people think, so much so that he got a tattoo on his shoulder in honor and sort of in memoriam for Michael. Michael clearly meant a lot to Trevor, and it's obvious that when he found out that someone he cared so much about just wanted to set him up and literally have him killed and gotten rid of, it's pretty understandable why he lost his shit. This truly makes me appreciate this game's story from a writing perspective, because you have good arguments for both siding with Michael and with Trevor. Trevor is betrayed. He felt betrayed because he metaphorically got a knife to the back by his longtime best friend, who he's been through God knows what for the past 10 plus years, and Michael, well, he felt like that was all that he could do, considering how crazy and unpredictable Trevor was, because his priority became his family and protecting them by any means necessary, even if it was at the cost of one of his closest friends. And with that said, I want to thank you for watching this video. I gotta say, yeah, I mean, it's obvious that Trevor really hated Michael here, mostly because he figured out that Michael had this plan to set him up. It wasn't so much because of Brad, like I said. That's at least my takeaway from this. Of course, leave your thoughts and opinions on this topic in the comments down below. Until next video stream, bye-bye.